I will create new actor class blueprint and call it BP level actor. Now I will just drop in somewhere in the level. In Details panel, I can change billboard size to make it easier to see. Let's say I want to change direction of our light. We already have light in our level. I have to make a reference for our light in order for me to impact it in some way. So I can select directional light that we have in level. And if I look at Outliner, I can see the type of that light and it says directional light. Now if I open my BP level actor, I can create new variable and call it light. Now I will click on variable type and change it to directional light. And I will choose directional light object reference as type. Now I have changed the type to be the same as it is in our level. Now in order for me to reference that light, I need to click this eyeball icon and compile my blueprint. I can now go to my level editor and select my BP level actor. In Details panel, under Defaults, I can see light. If I go to my BP level actor and click on eyeball icon, compile and go back to my level editor. If I select my BP level actor, I can no longer see light. What this eyeball will do, it will allow me to edit this variable inside of my level editor. I can also click Instance Editable. It will do the same thing as eyeball icon. It's the same option, just in 2 different places. So with my Instance Editable box checked, I can again compile my blueprint and go back to my level editor. Now with my BP level actor selected, in my Details panel I can click on my light and select directional light from my drop-down menu. Or I can click this icon here and search for it in the level. I can only select direction light because my variable type is directional light. We can select direction light and look at the Details panel. I can see options for rotation here. I can play with them to see what rotation I like the best. Control Z to undo the action. So with our reference set, we can go back in our BP level actor and make some use of it. We can drag it and get it. I said I wanted to change rotation, so I will drag from my light variable and type, set actor rotation. I will also add delay node and set it to 5 seconds. And connect everything to begin play. I will copy and paste all values from directional light to our rotation node. And I will only change Y value to the one that I like. Compile and play. As you can see, after 5 seconds our light changed rotation, and that was only possible because we made a reference for it. Now I will change color of the sky. Because we already have sky in our level, we can do the same thing. We can go back to our level editor and look for sky. We have something called Sky Atmosphere. We can select it and look for what we want to change in our Details panel. We have option Rayleigh Scattering. We can click on it and play around. And as you can see, we are changing the color of our sky. So when we make a reference for our sky atmosphere, we will want to set new Rayleigh Scattering. You can open your BP level actor and make a new variable. Call it sky. Change its type to be sky atmosphere object reference. And make it instance editable so we can edit it from level editor. Compile and go to your level editor, select BP level actor, and in Details panel, look for sky. You can click this icon again and select your sky atmosphere. Now in my BP level actor, I will drop sky variable and get it. I will look for Rayleigh Scattering and select first option. Now you can see target is sky atmosphere component, and that's because our Rayleigh Scattering is part of sky atmosphere component. If you go back to your level, select sky atmosphere in Details panel, you can see that it has that component. I can change the color to new color that I would like. And I can connect it to rotation. Now if I compile and play, After 5 seconds, our light changed rotation and color. That was only possible because we created a reference for our light and sky. Without them, we would not be able to impact them. I can open my BP third-person character. In Event Graph, I can type Keyboard Events E and select it. I can search for Spawn Actor from class. And in drop-down menu, I can search for Sparks. If you don't see Sparks, you probably don't have your starter content enabled, and you can choose different actor to spawn. For Spawn Actor from class node, we need to give it Spawn Transform value, basically location where actor will be spawned. We can go to our viewport and add a component. I will select Box Collision and put it slightly in front of my character. Now in my Event Graph, I can drag Box from my components to the graph, and I can search for Get World Transform and connect it to Spawn Transform. If I compile and play the game, when I press E, you can see sparks spawning to the place where I put Box in my character blueprint. Now, if I want to affect sparks in some way, if I want to destroy them or something, I need to have a reference for it. I can click on Return Value and promote it to Variable and call it Sparks. Now I have a reference for it, and that reference will be populated when we spawn them, so I can get them and look for Destroy Actor node. I can add new keyboard event and connect it to Destroy Actor. Now I can compile and play. If I press E, I will spawn sparks, and if I press V, I will destroy them. If I spawn 2 sparks and press V 2 times, I will only destroy last sparks I spawned, because I scripted it that way. We only populate that variable when we spawn, and when we destroy them, we empty the variable. In this part of the tutorial, I only want you to understand that we need references for objects if we want to affect them in some way. It's not important for you to understand the script. I only want you to understand that we need a reference for something that we want to affect, so that later in this tutorial series, when you see me making a reference, you know why I'm making it. I will make one more example that is more true to the game. Let's say you want to pick up a sword. Well, you need a reference for it. I will make actor class blueprint and call it BP sword. Inside of it, I will just add 2 cubes and adjust them, so I get a shape similar to sword. And drop it somewhere in the level. Now inside of my character blueprint, I will add new keyboard event Q. And sphere trace for objects node. This node will spawn sphere around my character and trace object that are inside of it. I just need to give it location. For that I can use my character's location. Because I'm inside of character blueprint, I can search for actor's location and connect it to start and end. We have to give it a radius, and if we want to see it, we can click here and select for duration. Now we have to select what object type we will be looking for. I will look for Make Array node. Now to know what type of object I'm looking for, I will open my BP sword. I will select one of the cubes, and in Details panel I will look for Collision and open Collision preset. Here I can see that object type is World Dynamic. So inside of my character blueprint I will change my array to be World Dynamic. Inside of my level I will select one of the blue cubes, and in Details panel I will look for Collision preset. And here I can see, object type is physics body. Now if I play the game, if I get close to sword and press Q sphere is yellow, that's good. That means we recognize that object. And when I get close to blue box, it's red, that's bad, because we set it to look for world dynamic object type, and it doesn't recognize this box. So back in character blueprint, we can break this out hit. Now that we have hit actor, we can promote that actor to a variable so that we get a reference to it inside of that variable and connect it to sphere trace for objects. We can add print string node and connect in string to the hit actor and connect print string to set node. So when we press Q, we will spawn sphere. Actor's location will be location of where sphere will spawn. Radius is size of the sphere. Object type is a type of object we are looking for. So inside of that sphere, we are looking for world dynamic object. And here we are just showing it on the screen. Here we break hit that happened. And from it, we can get some data. One of them hit actor that we hit. So after promoting it to a variable and setting it, each time we press Q, we will spawn a sphere, look for dynamic type object, and when we hit something, we will set it inside of hit actor variable. After that, we will print name of the hit actor. So if I compile my blueprint and play the game, if I get close to the sword and press Q in the top right corner, I can see BP sword. That means we successfully created reference for that sword inside of our hit actor variable. I can add event tick node and get our hit actor, search for print string node and connect it. Event tick is node that will fire constantly. So if I play now, you can see that my hit actor node is populated with BP sword. If I press Q again, it gets empty because it's programmed that way. Each time I press Q, I set new hit actor, regardless if I interacted with something or not. This was out of the scope of this video, but I wanted to show you example that is little more true to the game. You don't have to understand single node here. Only thing that I want you to understand is that you need to have a reference for an object that you want to manipulate in some way. With this example I showed you when I pressed Q, and if I was close enough to the sword, I was able to capture it inside of hit actor variable. Now I could use that variable to destroy it in the world and spawn it on my character, but that's not for this video.